Hey guys, what's going on? It's Vic here, back with another Madden 22 rebuild. In today's episode, we're going to be rebuilding the Seattle Seahawks, but with the new addition of Charles Cross. So, I just find it a little bit interesting how, Russell Wilson never really had a good offensive line, but as soon as they trade him away, they're like, yeah, sure, let's draft offensive line now. It seems kind of funny to me, but now they're going to have their commander, Drew Lock, who's now wearing number 2, instead of Russell Wilson's number 3. On the Seattle Seahawks, try to build his own legacy there. Drew Lock has a horsecock, just the normal thing. And DK Metcalf, there's talks about him being traded, but I don't think he will be traded. I think he even said on Twitter himself that he wasn't going to be. He didn't say it directly, but he made a hint at it. Chris Carson, whenever he's healthy, he's a solid back, but that's the problem. He's never healthy. Rashad Penny kind of broke out at the end of the season there, but he still wasn't worth a first-round pick. Yeah, this is really not really the best depth here. Jacob Eason, Geno Smith, and Drew Lock at quarterback. We're definitely going to have to draft one. Tyler Lockett's solid. He's just getting on the older side here. He's really 29 in real life, but in Madden he's 28. So we will have to eventually replace him. Noah Fant was a great pickup in that trade. The Seahawks had an amazing amount of picks from the Broncos, and I will actually have to trade for those picks as well. Will Dissly here. Gabe Jackson is solid, but yeah, this O-line definitely needs huge improvement. Defensively, looking into it, the better side of the defense, Uchenna Nwosu here. Since we're in a 4-3, I'm going to move Uchenna Nwosu down to left end. And they also drafted a edge rusher in the second round, and as a Ravens fan, I got to tell you, I think his name is Boye Mafe, or Boye Maf. I don't know how you exactly pronounce it. Tell me down in the comments. I think it's Boye Mafe. I'm just going to call him Mafe if he does anything in this rebuild. I got to tell you, I thank God the Seahawks organizations did not draft David Ojabo. They drafted this guy over David Ojabo, and I was so excited whenever the Ravens drafted David Ojabo. I know he tore his ACL during his pro day, but whenever he heals and he's on the field, David Ojabo is a first-round pick by far. I'm so happy the Seahawks passed up on him. But yeah, the rest of the team, Jordan Brooks seems to be panning out this year. Now that there isn't really much of a linebacking core here without Bobby Wagner, he's finally going to have a chance to fully shine on his own. Quandre Diggs here, who's very, very underrated, very good for the Seahawks last year. Jamal Adams, who gets honestly too much hate. Jamal Adams is still a great safety, regardless if you want to call him Blitz Boy or Butterfingers. It doesn't matter. Regardless, he's a great safety in coverage. He still does his job. He gets hated too much, but he's still a great safety. He's kind of just a joke sometimes. He just became a clown whenever he got on the Seahawks. He was a lot better on the Jets, I will say that. Justin Coleman here. How old is Justin Coleman? He's 28, not really the best. Sidney Jones, yeah, not really the best at all in the defensive back group here. I honestly projected in my mock draft that Sauce Gardner would fall to 9 and they would take him, but apparently not. He fell all the way just to 4. That's it. Not even falling that far. I think the Jets had a great pick with that. It was interesting to me that he went that high. Anyways, this is what we got for the team. I'm not going to change any of the schemes or any of the playbooks in the first year just to see how the team does by themselves, and I don't have to change anything. So, yeah, let's see how they do. Just that we're going to have to draft the QB, and I'm going to have to trade for the Broncos picks. So I'll go do that off camera, but apart from that, guys, it is now time to move in to the midseason mark. Here we are at the midseason mark as we are 2-5 bottom of the division. I honestly expect the Seahawks to do worse than this. I expect them to maybe have one win. Their team is just really bad, and offensive tackle in the first round is not going to immediately make the team better. That's like a long-term investment type of thing. Coming off a loss to the Saints, Rashad Penny, no, I'm not signing you. Sidney Jones, I will sign you just because you will be good depth in the future. Right now, you're our best starter for the defensive back position, so yeah, I will re-sign you, and that's actually a pretty cheap deal. Justin Coleman, no. Austin Blythe, no. Everyone else here is just a no. Just don't really care about anyone else there. So apart from that, guys, I would say that it is now time to move in to the playoffs. Here we are in the playoffs, and don't get your hopes up, Seahawks fans. 7-10 is not what you will go. No chance in hell are the Rams going 6-11, the Cardinals going 6-11. We're coming off a win to the Cardinals. Our defense was apparently 8th in points per game, so I'm not going to change our defense in any way if they did that good. Stats and awards, let's see what we got. Drew Lock does not have the horsecock, as he was not that good. 30th best offense, 19th best defense. 4,100 yards, 17 touchdowns is horrible. 10 interceptions. Chris Carson, 11 touchdowns, 3.6 per carry. That's not good. DK, almost 1,200 yards, only 2 touchdowns. Yikes, dude. Just a yikes all around. Jamal Adams, 105 tackles, 105 tackles for Justin Coleman, and 101 for Jordan Brooks. Tackles for a loss, 17 for Uchenna Nwosu. Sacks, 12.5 for Uchenna Nwosu. Great year. Interceptions, 2 for Jamal Adams. We had a total of 3 interceptions the entire year. That is disgustingly bad. Okay. Safeties, 1 for Al Woods. Defensive touchdowns is 0. Despite us going 7-10, that was a terrible year. Anyways, I don't expect us to do ridiculously good. I don't want to file staff. Please let me back out of this. I clicked the button like 3 times. Now it's the time to move into the offseason. And the Niners beat the Bills in the Super Bowl. Fred Warner wins the Super Bowl MVP, and there are no awards here for the Seattle Seahawks. What a surprise. Anyways, let's look into the roster to see if there is any development upgrades. I highly doubt there will be on offense. Offensively, guess what? I was right. Nobody gets an upgrade. Defensively, maybe Uchenna Nwosu. Yes, Uchenna Nwosu gets superstar dev, and that's the only upgrade I see. So I'm not really surprised by that. So let's move into the re-signed players here to see who we have. And yeah, I don't think there is anyone that I want to re-sign. I think I already threw everyone out. But we got to look at the retirements too. I'm yawning. Sorry about that. I just recorded my Eagles video that I released. Probably you guys are seeing this the next day after the Eagles video. NFC West, let's see the retirements for us. NFC, I passed the NFC West. Absolutely nobody in the NFC West retires. Let's look at the players ready to negotiate here. And we have guys already said no to, and everyone else here I just don't really care about at all. So let's move into free agency with only $34 million to spend. I thought we would have a lot more than that. Here we are after free agency as I picked up Jason Kelce, which is a huge addition to this offensive line, but he may retire maybe even the next season. I also got Will Lutz on a cheap deal as a kicker. So that was a big upgrade to our offensive line. We need more cap room to work with, but it's now time to get into the draft. In the first round at pick number 9, I'm picking up another offensive tackle, back-to-back years of the Seahawks picking offensive tackles with Charles Cross from this year. Kevin Callahan, he's going to move over to the right tackle position, and we are solidifying our offensive line. There wasn't very many good QBs on the board, so I'm just waiting for one with my next pick from the Broncos. And with my first round pick from the Broncos, I'm picking up QB Jeff Nance, hidden dev, 90 throw power, probably a higher overall, 76 speed. He doesn't look insane. F, awareness, but I guess that doesn't really matter that much. But B, throw accuracy deep, and B, play action, C, throw on the run. So good enough for me. And in the second round, at pick number 9 in the second round, I'm picking up defensive end Frank Joyner. He's going to replace Shelby Harris, hidden dev, 6'3", out of South Carolina. Here we are after the draft as Callahan is a 69 overall. Nice. So I'm going to move him over to right tackle, and it seems like Jeff Nance is a very low overall, but he has a hidden development. So apparently that 90 throw power really didn't reflect too much about his development because his awareness is an F. That's why he's so low. I just realized that. Lucas, apparently the CPU picked up. No, that wasn't the CPU. He was loaded into the roster. How old is Gabe Jackson? 31. Yikes. Maybe Young would be better to start? No, he's a 62 overall. So, yeah. I mean, Callahan is, I guess, a solid pick for the future. Nance is going to start regardless of his overall. I don't care if his awareness is an F. His throw power is a 90. His accuracy isn't bad. He just has 58 awareness. That's literally the only thing that's tanking his overall and making him look bad. So I'm going to start him regardless. He has a good throw power. Joyner, why is he... Okay, I have to cut someone. Miles Adams, sure, you're gone. Get out of here. And Joyner is going to start at rush right end over Shelby Harris, who I kind of just want to cut completely. I would be losing a lot of money if I cut him. I would be losing $14 million, so I can't do that. And I don't have Justin Coleman anymore. Our defensive back group really sucks. And yeah, not really the best signs. Joyner is going to start. Shelby Harris, should he start on the other side? Sure, I'll start Shelby Harris on the other side. Uchenna Nwosu is rush left, and no, Shelby Harris is my rush defensive tackle. Okay. Yeah. But anyways, guys, apart from that, I now get to change my schemes, and I get to look at a free agency roster. Hold up. I got AJ Boye. Yeah, I got to sign someone, and I don't have any cap room, really, so AJ Boye is the only signing I can make here, unfortunately. So AJ Boye is unfortunately going to be my best defensive back, and I am going to change up the defensive scheme. Philadelphia's defensive playbook usually actually worked well for me last time. Actually, I'm going to go Pittsburgh's playbook, and I'm going to go with the 4. I'm going to go base 4-3, and then I'm, of course, going to go with Kansas City's offense because that always works the best. And vertical power run. Do I go... What's the best one? What was it? I think it was West Coast power run is the one that worked for me pretty well. I don't know. Let's try that. See if that works. But anyways, guys, apart from that, I'd say it's now time to move in to the midseason mark. Here we are at the midseason mark, coming off a win to the Rams, as the Rams are 2-5, and so are we. What's the problem? Everything is the problem. Everything's just the problem. Okay. We just need a significant improvement at QB and just everything in general. We got DK Metcalf here. Of course, I do want him back. I'm going to sign him on a long-term deal. And Chris Carson, just now, he didn't have a good season. He's just not good in general. And we're going to re-sign Uchenna Nwosu as well in a long-term deal. He had 12 sacks in the previous season. Poona Ford, he's going to be a solid depth player even if I do find a replacement for him. So he's the best starter we have to. Keep him. AJ Boye, no. Everyone else here is just a no. I don't really care about him. So apart from that, guys, I would say it's now time to move into the playoffs. Actually, let's not do that. Really quickly, where's Drew Lock staged at? Drew Lock is here. Can I trade away Drew Lock and get value out of him? That's the question on my mind. Buccaneers want him. Can I get a second-round pick for Drew Lock? Is that a possibility? Yes. Oh, my God. I probably could have got a first-round pick for him. Drew Lock is up and out of here. So apart from that, guys, it's now time to move into the playoffs. Here we are in the playoffs going 14-3, bottom of the division. How did we do worse than last season? Jeff Nance was actually very good in yards, not very good in touchdowns. 18th best offense, worst defense in the NFL. Okay, apparently Pittsburgh's defense doesn't work that well. 4,800 yards, 28 touchdowns, 10 receptions. Chris Carson, 11 touchdowns, 4.0 per carry. That's honestly not bad. I'll give him a contract since they actually put that up, so I'll do that for him. 1,100 yards for Noah Fant, 8 touchdowns, 100 receptions. I'm going to give him superstar. 100 receptions and 1,100 yards with a rookie QB is a great accomplishment. Tyler Lockett did pretty well, and Dwayne Eskridge did better than DK. Wow, okay, interesting. Looking at it defensively, Cody Barton, 135 tackles for a loss, 19 for Uchenna Nwosu, sacks 16 for Uchenna Nwosu. He seems to be a star on this team for the defense at least. Interceptions, 4 for AJ Boye, not 14. That would be insane. 1 safety for Uchenna Nwosu and 0 defensive touchdowns. I'm going to give Uchenna Nwosu X Factor. He had a safety and 16.5 sacks. He's been consistent with us, so let's move into the offseason. And the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes wins the Super Bowl MVP against the Cardinals, and there are no awards here for the Seattle Seahawks, so I just won't regard that. And let's look at the roster upgrades here offensively. What does Nance have? Nance has star dev. I'm fine with that completely. I'm going to give Chris Carson a contract, and then Dwayne Eskridge has star dev. Noah Fant had 100 receptions with a rookie QB and 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns, so I definitely want to give him superstar dev as well, because if you guys didn't already know, in Madden, a tight end cannot naturally go from star to superstar, but they can go from star to superstar X Factor or normal to star. It's just a glitch in the game. So O-line is it's still kind of bad. We still need to improve it. But defensively, Uchenna Nwosu gets X Factor. No surprise, the dude's a beast. Joyner is a star dev. He's going to be a solid piece for us. We need defensive backs so desperately. Hopefully we can get that in free agency, but I don't think I honestly have that much money. Oh, I have $60 million. Never mind. I don't know where that came from. We must have been taking a lot of cap penalties from someone. Yeah, it's Russell Wilson. That's who we're taking cap penalties from. We were taking cap penalties from Russell Wilson's contract. So anyways, we're going to look at the 2022 retirements to see what we got here. And we are going to go to NFC West. NFC West, fullback. Our fullback and Al Woods retires. Trent Williams retires on the Niners. That's actually pretty good for us because Trent Williams is the best offensive tackle in the NFL, the best offensive lineman in the NFL. Chris Carson, he's 28. I just realized that, so I don't want to give him a contract anymore. Yeah, no. AJ Boye, Cody Barton. How much do you cost, Cody Barton? Oh, that's actually a cheap deal, and he had the most tackles on our team this year, so I would like to re-sign him. And everyone else here is a no. LJ Collier. I can't believe that guy was a first-round pick. Anyways, it's time to move into free agency with almost $60 million to spend. Here we are after a huge free agency as we get Kareem Hunt, Alton Jenkins, so I'm going to move Damian Lewis over to right guard to replace Gabe Jackson. Adrian Amos, I'm going to move down to the outside linebacker position, considering we already have 2 solid safeties. couple great safeties. Rashad Fenton as a DB, Grady Williams, and Nick Needham. These aren't really the top guys at DBs. They're just depth players, which, we needed the defensive back position anyway. So let's just move into the draft. With the #1 overall pick, I picked up an outside linebacker, Marquise Monk, no dev, out of Florida. Not really the best first-round pick, but he's going to move to right outside linebacker because I already put Adrian Amos at left outside linebacker. Yikes, dude. Yikes for #1 overall pick. Here we are after the draft. As I'm going to be honest, we had a total bust of a draft. We had 2 first-round picks and just did not do good with either of them. Picked up a defensive tackle, Autry, here at pick #4. He doesn't have any development. 73 isn't a bad overall, but having no development for a 4th overall pick in the draft is just, it's very upsetting. I'm going to move Marquise Monk over to right outside linebacker officially, and maybe we can do something with that. I don't know, dude. It's just not really the best look right now. And yeah, we're going to have to change something up here completely on the defense. Move this over. Boye Mafe is not going to be a starting right outside linebacker. I want my #1 overall pick starting, please. And yeah, we have depth at the defensive back position. We just don't have any really good ones. And Shelby Harris, he just needs to go, dude. He's just taking up cap on this team. Can I please just cut you already? Yeah, that'll save me $6 million in cap. And then offensively, our offensive line is completely just done. I mean complete. So let's just cut Gabe Jackson. We'll save $3 million even with the penalty. Nance just needs to develop, and that's literally all we're waiting for. And maybe a better interior defensive line. That would work a lot better. I may just trade away some of my first-round picks in this midseason mark to do so. So let's move in to the midseason mark. Here we are at the midseason mark as we are 4-3, top of the division, coming off a loss to the Eagles. I'm surprised by that. Our defense is 5th in the league, but our offense is 21st in points per game. Interesting. Kansas City playbook doesn't really seem to be working out that well. Looking at what we got here, we got Noah Fant. Of course, I do want you back. Let's up that money for you. That's a stupid cheap deal, by the way. And he resigns Quandre Diggs. I would actually like for the remainder of this rebuild. I would be cool with giving him a contract. I don't think he's going to drop below an 80 overall. I do want him back. Charles Cross should have a 5-year deal because he was a first-round pick, and he should get a 5th-year option, so he shouldn't even be here right now. So I'm not even going to negotiate or waste any money on him because I would like to have it for free agency or any type of trade. Damian Lewis, I would like back as well. So let's get that contract up, and he resigns. Will Disley, I just don't need. Kenny Walker, no. Boye Mafe, I would actually like to put him on his 4-year deal that he's actually supposed to be on. He doesn't get a 5-year deal because he was a 2nd-round pick and not a 1st-round pick. So let's give him a 4-year deal. Boye Mafe is back. I don't really care about extending Kenny Walker's deal. Darrell Taylor, no. Woolen, no. Everyone else here is just a no. So I don't really care about those guys. I'm going to try and trade right now. What's our rush? Yeah, our defensive rushing game is 21st. So I'm going to try and trade for a big-time defensive tackle right now. I drafted one at pick #4. I probably should have used that pick #4 on a trade for a defensive tackle. Why are we projected to have pick 31 in the draft? We're not going to be that good at all. We're not going to be 2nd for the Super Bowl. But let's see what we got here, and I'll see you guys at the playoffs. And now I'm trading away my 1st, my 2nd, and my 3rd-round pick, all for Daron Payne. I traded away my entire capital away for Daron Payne because apparently the CPU has us projected at pick 31. If we were projected to have like pick 16, I could have just got him straight up for a 1st-round pick. But no, it doesn't work that way because apparently we're projected pick 31. But he's going to help with our defensive lot. He's just going to help in general. It's just going to help the team. Of course, I've said that for the 3rd time now. But, yeah, that's really good for us. The defense is actually doing pretty good. Pittsburgh, as stupid as it sounds to say, Pittsburgh's defense, I know they're going to fall off, so I'm going to change it. Even though it's technically ranked 5th right now, I know it's just going to immediately tank as soon as I don't change it. So Tampa 2, let's go Philadelphia's playbook. It worked pretty well for me in my last rebuild. So we're going to go Philadelphia's playbook, and we're going to change up our offensive scheme too. To vertical power run. Where is it? Can I please? Vertical power run. That's what I wanted. So anyways, guys, apart from that, I would say it is now time to move into the playoffs with our 3rd season in mind, and let's get into it. Yep, and of course our offense is 27th in the league, 7-10 Seattle Seahawks. I have no draft capital. I have barely any money. We're gonna have to hope Nance just goes off in his final season, because this is not working out. Nance actually did not even do bad. 23rd best offense though. I don't know what's up with that. 23rd best defense. 4,400 yards, 31 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, not really the best. Kareem Hunt, 7 touchdowns, 4.6 per carry is pretty good. Dwayne Eskridge, almost 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns, that's insane. DK, 1,111 yards and 6 touchdowns. Noah Fant, 9 touchdowns, 882 yards. Jordan Brooks, 145 tackles, that's great. Tackles for a loss, 21 for Uchenna Nwosu and 15 sacks for Uchenna Nwosu. Interceptions is 3 for Greedy Williams. Safeties on the team is 0. Defensive touchdowns is 0. So, anyways, guys, apart from that, I would say it is now time to move in to the offseason. Hopefully, we can, I don't know what we're going to do in the offseason. And the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes beat the Niners in the Super Bowl again. Najee Harris wins the league MVP, and there are no awards here for the Seattle Seahawks. How much money do we have? We have $21 million. That's interesting. Okay, so maybe we can get a QB in free agency. Let's see the upgrades on the team. Eskridge gets superstar dev. Hopefully Jason Kelsey does not retire. That would be a tragedy if he did. Fenton, Sidney Jones, Puna Ford, and yeah. How much is Tyler Lockett's contract? I know it's huge, but is it worth cutting him? That's worth it. I'm gonna do it. 16 million. Oh, I can't cut him because I have a cap restriction on that. So I really want that cap restriction just to be for the CPU. I hate it that it does it to me. It's like, I'm the controller. Please let me do what I want. Don't let the CPU do what it wants, because it's very annoying. So let's remove the restriction on that, and then I'll put it back on in a second. Do I even have any old players on my team? I don't really think so. But I'm still going to put it on regardless, because I know the CPU will find ways to ruin my team. So that's worth it to cut him. Maybe I can get him back in free agency for a cheaper deal, because I just don't want to pay him $17 million a year to be a second string receiver. That's a star development, 84 overall. So it's not worth having him whenever I could potentially go all in for a QB and then trade my QB for another receiver. That would be a sick move if I could do that. So let's see what we got here for the retirements, and let's see what we got for the re-sign players as well. I don't think there is anyone I want to re-sign anyways. We have $37 million to spend now. That is a huge difference. So let's see what we got for the NFC West. Absolutely nobody. And let's see what we got for the players ready to negotiate. And we have Will Disley, nobody here that I want. I'm going to get into free agency, but if you just see me skip basically into the next season, because I don't need the draft, I'd trade away my entirety of my draft capital. If you see me in the next season, it means I got nobody in free agency, but let's get into it. After free agency, I ended up getting Tyler Boyd on a cheaper deal than what Tyler Lockett was, and he's 1 overall higher, so it's a better deal. And I got famous Jameis Winston. He was literally the best QB available, so I'm going to be trading away Nance maybe for something. I don't know exactly what I would want, but I have 0 draft capital, so I'm not going to be participating in the draft. All I have is like a 4th or 5th and a 6th round pick, so yeah, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to simulate into the next season. Okay, so this is my second time recording this, because the first time I wasn't recording. So technically it's my first time recording, but yeah, I had to cut off my video because I had a very long pause in between the draft, and it looks like this triplet guy, the CPU picked him up in the 4th round. I didn't do anything. Defensively, though, as you can see, Adoree Jackson has superstar. I traded for Adoree Jackson from the Giants, and I traded away Jeff Nance and like a second string left tackle for Adoree Jackson. And yeah, they accepted it. I thought he was only going to be a star dev, but he is a superstar, so that is good for us. And yeah, team's looking pretty good here. Jameis Winston is going to have to lead us to victory, so I have to have some hope in him. But anyways, guys, apart from that, it's now time to get into the 4th and final season to see if we can make the playoffs, so let's get into it. Here we are in the playoffs, going 15-2, top the division, 2nd best offense in the league in points per game. Famous Jameis, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Stats and awards, let's see what we got here. We got Jameis being a god. Is that MVP? Let's see. Jameis, 3rd for MVP, 2nd best offense in the NFL. What do we got defensively for famous Jameis? 18th best defense. 4,900 yards, 43 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, great season. Kareem Hunt, 16 touchdowns, 5.0 per carry, 1,200 yards, great season. Eskridge, almost 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns. DK Metcalf, 1,100 yards, 1,100 yards and 11 touchdowns. Noah Fant, 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns. Tyler Boyd, 8 touchdowns, almost 900 yards. Looking at it defensively, Adrian Amos, 138 tackles for a loss, 18 for Uchenna Nwosu, sacks, 12 for Uchenna Nwosu, 10.5 for Deron Payne, who had 9. Autry, wow, 9 sacks, interceptions, 7 for Adoree Jackson, huge pickup. Safeties is 1 for Frank Joyner, and defensive touchdowns is 1 for Adoree Jackson, 1 for Adrian Amos. Famous Jameis, baby. He's going to lead us to the promised land. Let's see who we're going to be facing in the divisional round. I'm going to be upset if we don't even get a playoff win throughout the entirety of this rebuild. 10-7, division rivals, the Arizona Cardinals, who got the 2nd seed. Can we beat them to move on to the conference championship? We don't. Not even a single playoff win in this rebuild. Another bust of a rebuild. This is 2 rebuilds in a row that have been a bust. My Eagles rebuild was a bust, and this one is. I am disappointed in myself. What did you want me to do? This was one of the worst teams I've ever built, and I did not have a good start with my QB. I really did not have a good start. Yeah, I'm proud of the team that I built, but they just didn't pan out, dude. Yeah, it's just so frustrating sometimes to play this game. Anyways, guys, apart from that, I thank you guys all for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.